How's it going, guys? It's That Red Yoda. Today we're going to be restoring my headlights, protecting my headlights and restoring my light bar, doing some interior mods, and we're going to be installing some new tweeters. So I'll be honest, I kind of did a bad job of recording some of the interior, just the interior stuff I did, but I'll go over it right now. So I used this black RIT fabric dye to dye this gray. This section was gray before, like a light gray. I dyed it black. And one thing I just have to say, well, first of all, it kind of bothers me that there's not a lot of trim color in this truck. You know, it's like got black up here on the dashboard, and then there's just kind of nothing else once you you know, when it's stock. But so I decided that this would be a good place to accentuate kind of that black trim color. So I went to just like a local craft store and got some black fabric dye. And the funny thing is, I'm not sure what this material is. I guessed that it was felt, but then if you look at felt, there's like 3 things that it's made out of, and on this label it has different directions for a different type of material. So I played it safe and kind of mixed a little bit of both. I mixed an 1/8 of a cup of vinegar with 1/8 of a cup of salt, and then I mixed a pint, so 2 cups of hot water, with 7 capfuls of this black fabric dye. And I think it worked out pretty well, because while it's black, it's not like a jet black. It's almost matches the truck. It's like a slightly faded black, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what I did for the interior in terms of dyeing this. Also in the back here, I reupholstered this headrest with black vinyl, and I think you know, just kind of accentuating the black trim color. I think it looks good, and it's durable and everything. It's holding up well, and hopefully I'll be able to do those seats down there sometime soon. Going back to the door, I put new tweeters in, and I painted this speaker grill black as well. Alrighty, so we got the tweeter in on the first door. That's the comparison of just how it looks. I'll show you what we did back here. So there's a wood block, and this is the stock mounting plate for the tweeter that was already in there, and we cut the center of it out because there's a center going across right here. Took a piece of wood and kind of caved a hole into it with a smaller hole going through the middle in order to support to the tweeter, which goes all the way through. And I'll compare the other mount to show you kind of what I mean. So that's how the stock one sits, and that's what we did to fit the new one. Alrighty, so it's wired up through the crossover. One thing you gotta do, just make sure that the logo is facing the right way, you know, so it's not upside down, because then the sound will come out upside down. And I really have to say, the tweeters made a much bigger difference than I expected. You can just hear such a better, more clear upper range of sound with them. Overall, I think this makes it feel a lot more sporty when I'm sitting inside, along with that reupholstered back headrest. Same with this door. Only thing I need to get is maybe like some neoprene or something to fill this gap in the middle, since the aftermarket tweeters don't contour with the curve of the door. Next thing I'm going to be doing is putting this gloss clear coat, which is non-yellowing and UV resistant, over my headlights, and I'm going to be restoring my light bar since it's getting a little bit sun damaged. So yeah, I've already masked off this one side. I'm going to clean it up, spray it with this, and then I'll mask off the other side, spray it, and then I'll get to wet sanding the light bar and covering it with this so it's clear again. I'm going to let that coat dry, and then I'll hit it with one more. And this is just so it doesn't turn yellow. So while the right side dries from the clear coat, it's going to have a second coat. I'm going to go ahead and start restoring my light bar. So what I'm going to do here is do a wet sand with some pretty fine grit. So I'm going to spray the light bar with a spray bottle, spray the sandpaper. This is 600 grit. This is kind of what I want to start out with, and then I'll smooth it out with, I think I have some 2000 grit after. So what you kind of want to do here is go in circular motions, and this is going to slowly be getting the yeah, see, it's kind of starting to leak that milky oxidized stuff off. that makes the bar look kind of foggy. You can do this with headlights too. This is not my original idea or anything. I actually got it from Chris Fix. So he's a guy on YouTube that makes a whole bunch of cool car videos. So. Already see a big difference. That's starting to clear up quite a bit. So I'll probably go over it a few more times, then I'll start with the finer grit. So after you get done with that first sand with the rougher grit, which I was doing 600, it's gonna look kind of quite a bit hazy like that. And that's fine because those are the little crevices and cracks we created by sanding it, that the clear coat is going to fill in and make it look uniform again. But first I'm gonna hit it with a finer grit sandpaper. Alrighty, so after you hit it with the finer grit, you kind of want to do a light sand. Well, with the finer grit, you want to do a light sand. The first time with circular motions to just get the oxidation off. This time you want to go this way to create a good even texture for the clear coat to grab onto. And now I'm going to mask it off and be ready to spray. As you can see, that made it really new looking. It's really clear. It's going to take a few coats of this before, you know, it kind of drips down over those crevices and fills it in to the point where it's pretty flat and it looks even on the surface once it's dry. I'd say probably 2 or 3 coats, maybe 4, and it should be good. So that is the protected and restored front lights. Got both headlights, protected them, and restored the light bar. I only used 2 coats and it looks way better than it did before. Looks like a new light bar. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to follow my build, and I'll see you guys in the next one.